What's going on, everyone? My name is Andy and welcome to another FPL video. Just like last week, going to jump straight into it, take a quick look at Game Week 11, then look ahead to Game Week 12. So Game Week 11 wise, last week it went really well for me. I know sometimes it's frowned upon when people are happy about their score. It almost looks like smugness or boasting or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm extremely happy with what I got last week. 84 points, no hits. Game week rank of 121k, and that's moved me right from 21,000 to 8,500, or just inside the top 8,500, so 8,476 to be precise. And I've never been inside the top 10k this early on in the season. So yeah, I'm extremely happy with that. Hopefully I can keep that up. Now I want to go for my best rank ever, but I know there's a lot of the season to go, and with FPL it can turn around so quickly, and I could get a few red arrows and be completely outside the top 10k, but let's just keep going and see how it goes. So just to quickly touch on where the points kind of came from. So Jimenez hauled. Obviously people have been looking about getting rid. I even considered myself. I thought I might as well keep for Cardiff and Huddersfield, and hope if you get something from Arsenal or Spurs, then that's a bonus. And obviously he got 12 points against Spurs, which is amazing. Yes, he took a penalty and he didn't take the first one, so we don't know week to week if he's going to be on penalties or if he's going to take them all. But at the same time, he had an offside a goal, but it was actually onside, so he should have had more points there, and I missed out on Doherty points as well. So I'm still a little bit bitter about that, but the total number of points means I'm not too bitter about it as I was on Saturday night when it happened. Arnautovic or Arnie is back. I know the pun is awful. 12 points, could have been more. Again, they had a stonewall penalty denied. I think Mark Noble wasn't even on the pitch at the time, so Arnautovic would have taken that. So 12 points, but it could have been more. We're going to talk about West Ham in the preview, but he's looking brilliant right now. And then Aguero back in the mix, 90 minutes out of nowhere. I suppose eventually it was always going to come. Didn't necessarily think it would be this week, but didn't expect him to play 60 to 70 minutes for the rest of the season. But Pep hadn't really said anything which made us think that he could play 90. So he got 13 points. Obviously he was eclipsed a bit by Sterling, but still a great score if you captained him. 26 altogether, so really happy about that. Richarlison, who can't play as a centre forward. I think I spoke about him last week and said, really, are we selling Richarlison when he's got Cardiff and Brighton in the next 3 fixtures? And he'd had 2 attacking returns out of 3 games as striker, and now he's got 4, so 4 and 4. So really happy about that. 15 points, incredible score. Already spoke about Aguero. Then Hazard, even though he didn't play very many minutes, he comes on and within the first minute he assists. If he's going to play going forward, then we have to keep him. It looks like he's probably going to miss the European match midweek, but hopefully then he'll be rested to play more at the weekend. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Ryan's not Superman. He couldn't keep up his 10 points per game that he got the previous 3 weeks, but still happy enough with him going forward. And then Mendy, no clean sheet. That was my transfer, Bennett to Mendy. And Man City didn't keep a clean sheet. They only won 6-1 instead of 6-0. But look, going forward, I think Mendy will be a great asset. So overall, good week. Happy on that, and hopefully we can build forward as we go into Game Week 12. So into the preview, and I'm going to go through some talking points and then take a look at my plans towards the end. I think I've forgotten to do that the last few weeks, but not today. Got a note for that. So the first one is Mitrovic replacements. There was a lot of unhappy people after the Huddersfield game. I think at that point most people weren't expecting too much, but they still wanted a goodbye gift from him, and he didn't deliver. Needs to go. Liverpool, Chelsea and Man United all away in the next 5 fixtures is not good enough for the kind of fixtures that you want to see your players having, especially for someone like Mitrovic. And I saw a stat, something like he'd had 12 shots on target in the first 5 or 6 games. He's only had 1 in the last 5, again 5 or 6, I can't remember exactly which way around it was, but basically his form's right down, not getting as many shots off, and can't see too many reasons why that's happened for Fulham. The fixtures haven't been massively more difficult, but I guess that's the thing with the Premier League. It is tough and it's hard to be consistent when you've just been promoted. So yeah, he looks like he has to go. So I've put down 3 options. So I think Arnautovic is the obvious one. West Ham have, I'm not going to read them all out, but they have fantastic fixtures right up until and over Christmas. So Arnautovic is not too much more money. Huddersfield away this week. It is Man City after that. Not ideal, but then I don't think they play another top 6 team until after Christmas. So Arnautovic looks like the one for me. I think he's the talisman there. When Noble's not on the pitch, he's got penalties as well. Can create something out of nothing. Doesn't necessarily need his team around him to do that as well if they're having an off day. So I think he's the obvious choice. Next one is Wilson. People still looking at him, even though he's got tough fixtures coming up. So We've got Arsenal at home, Man City away, and Liverpool at home in the next 5. I still go with what I said last week. If you had him, fair enough. I think you could have kept him. Probably deserved that much. But if you've not already got him, I think you're not bringing him in with those fixtures. And yes, he scored quite well, but his goals have come against Cardiff, West Ham, Watford and Fulham. So again, easier fixtures. And he's got tougher ones coming up. Granted, he scored against Man United, but that's a real bad piece of defending. Didn't have too many chances outside of that. Basically, a position where Man United just completely switched off. Not to take anything away from him. I'm not saying he won't score any points. He's obviously doing really well for chances created and assists as well. But for me, he's just not a player you're going to bring in with those fixtures. And then that leaves someone else if you want to go down a bit in money. We're going to talk about Morata later on. If you've got a bit of money to go up, you could look at him, but I think you're looking at Arnautovic really if you've not got him. But going down a bit, if you want to save some money, you've got Jimenez, who I've already got now. Again, people were looking at getting rid, but he's scored 4.5 points per game over the season. He's only 5.7 million. Arsenal away up next. I'm not sure you'd necessarily switch Mitrovic to him this week. But after that, it's Huddersfield and Cardiff, and then Chelsea, which is a bit more tough, and then Newcastle and Bournemouth. So 4 tasty fixtures in those 6. He's the main man there. They don't really have another striker they can play there. Maybe in January they'll look to buy one. But he's going to start most matches. And when I've seen him play, I think I've watched 3 or 4 Wolves games. I think he's looked okay. He's not been like as dangerous as an Arnautovic or a Salah, of course, or a Mane or someone like that. But it looks like he's going to get chances. He's in and around the box all the time. So the chances are there. Just got to start putting more of them away, which he did at the weekend. Obviously didn't count. But yeah, I like him, Jimenez for just 5.7 million. I think that's a good buy. What to do with Maddison? Keep this one short. Who are you swapping him for, I suppose, is the answer. Felipe Anderson, we're going to talk about in a minute, could be an option. If you've got enough money to go up, you could look at someone like Martial, but they've got Man City this week, so you're probably not going to go there. So for lots of reasons, mainly because there's not a direct replacement really, and I don't necessarily want to double up on West Ham just yet, or at least I want to buy myself a little bit more time, maybe after that Man City game. I'm probably going to keep Maddison. It's the first home game since the tragic events happened. Obviously, they hadn't had much time to kind of get over it before the Cardiff match, and not saying you get over something like that quick anyway before Burnley, but it will be the first home game since then. So I just want to see what he's like and what the team are like and see what they might be like going forward. Because I still think he could do the business. But fair enough, he has had 4 blanks in a row. But for me, Burnley have just been awful this season, especially away from home. So I'm probably going to keep him. I think a free transfer over the international break, an extra one, so having 2 altogether could be really beneficial. So for me right now, I'm going to keep Maddison, even though he's had 4 blanks. I've got to put that to one side. And when I think about can he get points in the Burnley game, I think so. And hopefully then he'll redeem himself. And going forward, we'll see what to do with him. And then let's talk about Sterling. So 21 points last week, which was incredible. Look, I think with him, you don't need to necessarily knee-jerk him in right now. And it wouldn't be a knee-jerk, to be fair. The amount of points he's scored already this season. He's on 8.6 points per game. I think someone said that Salah was on 8.4 for the whole of last season. So he's currently beating what Salah did last year. Now, would he keep that up for the whole season? I wouldn't put much money on it. Salah was absolutely incredible. But Sterling is definitely going to score points over the season when he plays. Little bit of a possible chance of rotation, especially over Christmas, but the games aren't as kind of compact as they were last year. There was loads of fixtures last year, and there obviously will be, because there's always loads of games over Christmas, but it's not as bad as the previous year, so he could start a large majority of those games. But it's Man United at home next, and as much as Man United have been bad, and I expect City to win, and probably quite comfortably, it's probably not a fixture you need to worry about bringing him in for straight away. So for me, the option there is to wait until after the international break, let Salah play Fulham, and then maybe look to do the switch there. Not only would it get me a player who can probably keep up a similar amount of points, got pretty good fixtures, and again, Man City have got a nice run over Christmas too, but it also saves like 1.8 million, I think it is, depending on when you bought those players. It's about 1.7 to 2 million. So that's a lot of money saved, which I can then put elsewhere. Maybe I get Robertson instead of Trent, or maybe I upgrade Jimenez or upgrade Maddison or someone like that. So that's what I'm looking at doing. I think Sterling's on fire. I can definitely look at getting him in. Lots of the talk is to get rid of Aguero and bring Sterling in instead. But for me, it's not necessarily one or the other. I think I want to keep Aguero. So why not double up on the best attack in the league? So that's what I'm looking at doing. Just to speak about Liverpool today, I'm recording this. The Liverpool match has already finished. They lost 2-0. I didn't watch it, but it sounds like it was a very poor performance from Liverpool. Trent was brought off at 45 minutes for Gomez. Matip started. So straight away, as soon as I saw Matip start, I thought, well, that makes the rotation even more annoying. Trent off at 45 minutes is not good. So, I mean, it depends how Klopp's going to treat it. He may now replace him because he wants to make sure that they're defensively sound against Fulham. He may give him a chance to redeem himself straight away. I think it could. He's quite a young player still. I think he's only like 19. So that could really knock his confidence. Gets brought off at half-time and then dropped for the Fulham game. We know there's going to be rotation anyway, but we could see if Lovren's back fit, him and Van Dijk in the centre, and then Gomez on the right. So I'm pretty worried about Trent. What I will say is my plan for him is to hold him for the Fulham game and hope he plays, and then look to ship him maybe the week after or in a few weeks' time when I need that spot, because I can probably play Doherty for the next few weeks against Huddersfield and Cardiff. But I'm looking at players like Rob Holding for Arsenal. He's played like the last 5 or 6 games, 90 minutes. Looks pretty good in that back line. Obviously, they're playing out the back more now that Leno's playing, so that might benefit him as well. So Rob Holding is only 4.4 million. Looking at Luke Shaw, Man United have a fixture swing soon. He's started every game. And I'm still looking at Balbuena for West Ham, so we'll talk about West Ham in a sec, but I still think he could be an option as well. Just to talk about Morata, 8.7 million. I think he's got 4 goals in the last 4 games now. Pretty good fixtures for Chelsea as well. Everton at home, Spurs away, Fulham at home and Wolves away. And I think Morata was never a bad player, but obviously he hasn't looked great, and he still did spurn a good chance in that game at the weekend. But it's got to give him some confidence back now, getting his goals, being in the team, being first choice, playing from the start. So I think that will help him. I think if you wanted a bit of a punt, why not look at someone like him for 8.7 with those fixtures? Obviously, it looks a little bit knee-jerk now. He scored 4 and 4, fair enough. But a lot of people will not go for him because of that price point. It's a bit awkward. You need more money to upgrade from Mitrovic and Arnautovic and Jimenez and Ings and players like that. And you're probably not looking at getting rid of Aguero. So if you want a bit of a differential, look at Morata. But for now, I'm gonna keep my eye on him. Maybe after the international break. But definitely confidence there. Just a quick note on Ali Eriksen's son. Don't want to spend too long on this. Spurs, they've got a fixture swing in game week 15, so we don't need to worry about them too much just yet. But it is worth noting in Europe, even though they played pretty badly, they did all start Ali Eriksen and son. It's been a while since that happened because of injuries and stuff like that. So as bad as maybe Spurs have been, let's remember they haven't necessarily had their full 11 for a long period of this season. So hopefully they can get a few games under their belt now. And then in game week 15, when that fixture swing happens, someone like Kane, Ali or Eriksen, if they're starting every game with the fixtures they've got, they're pretty much nailed, especially Harry Kane actually, not mentioned him. They could be worth looking at. Granted, not right now, but in the future, definitely. Triple captain, as of what happens when any big player like Salah or Sterling Aguero has a good fixture like Fulham, people talk about it. I think the performance tonight will put me off. I don't expect Klopp to make too many changes, but you'd expect 1 or 2. Is he going to drop his star man in Salah? I think the league is so important to Liverpool. I just don't see that happening. Would I triple captain in? My opinions on this don't change too often. I think if you're going to do it in a single game week, then Fulham's the game to do it in, the way they've been playing recently. They could sack their manager before this game. But the way they've been defensively, this is the game to do it in a single game week. I will be keeping it for a double game week because I want 2 shots at the cherry. I want to have 2 good fixtures with a good player that's in form at the time and hopefully get me double the amount of points. But obviously it doesn't always work like that. I've actually never had good success with a triple captain, so arguably I should try something a bit different. But I'm not going to do that, but I can see exactly why people want to do it. I think this is an okay fixture, but the European game would worry me a little bit. How many changes will Klopp make? How will they be feeling after that result and stuff like that? They might want to just bounce back and see Fulham as the game to do it in. So I wouldn't be too concerned. I do expect him to start, and I think if you're going to do it in a single game week, then this week looks good. And then just looking at West Ham, I've already spoke about the fixtures. Apart from the Man City game, they've got great fixtures up until over Christmas. Felipe Anderson, 6.8 million, did really well this weekend. And looks like kind of a few people, myself included, thought that Yarmolenko, when he was out, that maybe that would hurt West Ham, not as much creativity. But Felipe Anderson has just gone full throttle. It has looked pretty good. Now, whether he'll continue that, we don't know. Obviously, he's new to the Premier League. We've had 11 games to see him right now, and he's seemed pretty good. But we'll have to see if he can continue over this run of fixtures. But they have got the fixtures for him to keep performing like that. So I think he looks good for 6.8 million. Like I said, he could be a Maddison replacement if you're looking to do it straight away. Huddersfield's a good fixture. Dean Garner, 4.5 million midfield. I think he's only owned by 0.1 or 0.2%. Utter differential. Felipe Anderson is less than 3%. So if you're looking for someone different, West Ham could be the way to go. I still think Balbuena at 4.4 million could be a good idea if you want to cover, not that you need to cover their defence, but if you want one of their defenders in purely because of the fixtures. So I think look at West Ham for sure because of the fixtures, because of the options, because of the differentials. If they fire again, they're going to shoot up the ranks. And Diangana, if he can keep his place, and we don't know for sure if that's going to happen, but he'd be great over Christmas having a 4.5 playing player in a good team like West Ham. Maybe even fourth midfield material. Yeah, definitely good options there. I'm captaining Salah. I don't even think I need to talk about this too much. It's Fulham. I've already kind of mentioned the triple captain. I've got to go for Salah. I don't think Hazard's the worst option against Everton as long as he plays. And obviously Arsenal have Wolves at home, so you could go for someone like Lacazette or Aubameyang. But for me, Salah or Mane, if you've got them, they have to be the ones to go for. This fixture is too good to turn down, even as so much that I've talked about triple captain. That's how good it is. And then lastly, my plans are to do nothing this week. I think I'm going to keep Maddison for Burnley and hope he does something there. I don't think there's a huge need for me to get rid of him. There's not too many options that I can go for with just 0.2 million in the bank. It'll give me a free transfer over the international break, 2 frees going into that. So if I want to spend that Salah money, if I do Salah to Sterling, then I've got that there to play with as well. And to be honest, I'm benching Doherty, and he's so attacking, should have had an assist at the weekend. That even if Trent doesn't play, that he'll come in for me, so I'm not too concerned about that. And Danny Ward's even back at Cardiff. I don't think he's going to start just yet, because Patterson and co have done pretty well. But he was playing before he got injured, so hopefully he can come back in, because having a 4.5 midfielder that's playing regularly would be great for my team. So I'm going to leave it there. Sorry if it was a bit long. Lots to go through. Hopefully I didn't rush it too much. For anyone who's wondering why I've shaved and I've got this ridiculous looking mustache on my face and hasn't been watching the streams, I'm doing Movember. It's a really good cause for men's health. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description below. It'd be much appreciated if you check that out, and if you can donate something, brilliant. If not, that's cool too. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new around here as well. Leave a comment below if I've missed any questions that you want answered, or if you've got any comments to make about what I've said. Otherwise, I'll leave it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers all.